Yo, 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 what it do though? Just a baby. You already know, man. Back again. Another Fireside Friday, man. Hope y'all doing amazing out there. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I've had a pretty trying and emotional week, man. Had to take some time off of work. Really was going through something. I ain't gonna really get too deep into it because it involves me and another individual, and I don't even want to put that business out there like that. But just know, man, I had to do a little grieving. I had to go through a real process. You know, my process really just holding on to my pillow and listening to The Weekend as I cry. Nah, but I actually did do that. But anyways, man, I'm glad to be back. I know we took off last week, had some things that we really wanted to take care of. I got something I'm dropping also today. I'm actually excited about that. But let's get off into it, man. So look, it was probably about a month ago, I think, that we spoke about gun violence in America and how it was on the rise again. It's like an epidemic. And, well, this week we had another situation. In San Jose, there was a gunman who ended up killing, at first they thought 8, another individual died, so that was 9 victims, and took his own life. So 10 people 10 families will be forever changed due to this one event. But it's not just this one event, is it? Because as y'all recall, back then, I believe about a month ago, we said there was 147 mass shootings and there were 11 mass murders. Now we're up to 232 mass shootings and 15 mass murders. Mass murders being where any shooting event happens where more than 4 people die at one singular event. So, in the words of Governor Newsom from California, what is wrong with us? Like, for us to be in this place that we are at, what is it? Like, what is this gun culture love? Where does it come from? Is it like a psychological conditioning from a whole bunch of right-wing American talk about how it's an essential part of you to have a gun, and if you don't, there's something wrong? Is it like Hollywood with movies and TV shows conditioning us to believe that, you know, the hero is somebody who walks around with this gun and just kills folks, or these gun, bang, bang, shoot 'em up video? Like, what is it that is really causing us to have this issue, this persistent issue that will not be resolved? And I'm not talking strictly about gun control or gun reform or gun laws or anything like that, though that is something that needs to be spoken about in a very pragmatic way, because there's so many things that come along with that. People always want to say, y'all just want to take our guns, and that's not it. And also, if you don't really understand the process of how that would happen, you really need to stop making that talking point. Because let's be honest, it is not going to happen. What needs to happen for somebody to repeal the Second Amendment is you got to at least have 66% of the Senate to agree, and you need 66% of all 50 states to agree to repeal the Second Amendment, and then they have to agree on what the ratification would be. That shit is not happening. Y'all gotta stop saying that. 8 years of saying Obama's gonna take your guns, and what happened? Gun sales skyrocketed, ammo sales skyrocketed, and gun manufacturers made a lot of motherfucking money. You know, like, I think that's also contributing to it, you know, because there's falsehoods being spread and people don't truly grasp how bad this situation is. Let's see, we had 5,425 homicides and 6,996 suicides the last time I reported on this. Now we're up to 7,859 homicides and 9,768 suicides. This is a problem, okay? This is a problem. Look, y'all, I don't get this gun culture love, right? I was in the military. I shot a lot of different weapons. I even got to shoot that AT-4 like that. It was cool, but it wasn't orgasmic. I don't understand this sexual fetish that you guys have for guns and gun rights. It does not make sense. Why are we putting the rights of a gun over the life of an individual? It blows my mind that I have to keep saying the same shit, because we keep having these same situations that keep occurring, whether it's in Indianapolis or Colorado or South Carolina or Georgia or California. There's people being senselessly murdered by an individual who thinks that, hey, I have a gun and I have a right to use it whenever and however I want to. And you guys keep saying that, well, it's just going to make criminals, you know, the criminals will be able to get guns, and if we stop, you know, allowing people to get them, then good people won't be able to have them. 2 issues wrong with that. One, there's reports and studies that show the good guy with the gun stops bad guys is a lie. It is a bullshit lie. And the other thing is, I'm trying to understand your logic when you say, "Oh, it's just gonna make criminals get it." So then, why haven't we decriminalized and legalized drugs? If keeping drugs from the good people is just gonna make criminals be able to get it, then why wouldn't we allow the good people to get it, right? Because that's the logic that you use, right? Guns are only gonna be found and gotten by criminals if we make it harder to get them. So I don't know. Maybe logic just simply eludes me at times, but whatever. So look, man. I don't know what we're gonna do. But I do know that we need to actually get really, really serious about attempting to make a change when it comes to these situations. And we have to start, I think, here. We really have to start here in the mind. We have to plant these seeds that, yes, it's okay to have a gun. A gun is a tool, but a gun is not something that should be a hobby. You know, like if you have 1,000 guns in your house, why? What the fuck is the point of that? You can still get shot by one damn bullet and die before you even got a chance to grab one of them. So I'm trying to understand what this is. And this isn't saying like you're stupid because you love guns or like there's something inherently wrong with you. But what I am saying is you need to question what it is about this particular weapon that has you so up in arms, like that pun, that makes you really, really want to put it just over everything else. Like you guys barely even know that there's 10 amendments in the Bill of Rights. There's like 27 amendments in all, but there's 10 in the Bill of Rights, but you focus so much on the second one and then you misinterpret the first one and you don't care about the other 8. So I'm trying to really grasp what it is, why you guys are so in love with this, and I still haven't gotten to that. But I do know that there's way too many people dying by gun violence in the United States, and this is only an American problem. So maybe we need to figure out what's going on with us in America and fix the shit. So something else that happened this week. There is a individual, a lady by the name of Kristin Clarke. She is an attorney. She graduated from Harvard, Columbia University Law School, and she is set to be the first assistant attorney general in the Civil Rights Department since the inception of the Civil Rights Department from the Civil Rights Act of 1957. So this is very, very big, and I don't know how a lot of people feel about it, but looking at some of her track record, because she seems a little inconsistent at times, but looking at her track record, she has investigated into the Proud Boys, trying to sue them prior to the insurrection. She's very big on trying to open up other cases. She is for prosecuting police officers and trying to hold them accountable. Now, the things that kind of like differ, because both sides are saying certain things, is at one point she did say defund the police, but she said in a I can't remember exactly the wording that she used, but you know, in a respectable or some kind of way, right? But then she doubles down and she doubles back and she's like, look, I don't mean defund the police, but I do think we should allocate services or funds to social services. I'm like, well, that's kind of like defunding the police based on certain people's interpretation, but whatever. So it seems like she's trying to double talk, and I don't really know exactly where she stands on that. I know that she probably would want to allocate funds to other services to kind of help make, you know, crime reduce so that police officers don't have to put themselves in certain situations consistently and all the time like that. You know, if you address crime at the root, then you can kind of stop a lot of other things. So if you have social services for mental health, for employment, for education, for those kind of things, if you start diverting funds to those things, then these people will be less likely to do crime. Therefore, police will not have to report to crime or respond to crime. So there's a lot of things that are going on with that. She barely made it. It was like 51 to 48. The only Republican senator who actually voted for her was Susan Collins. But Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, you know, the fuck boys, they went out of their way to make it seem like she's a radical. Remember, we haven't heard that so much since the whole Kelly Loeffler and Senator Warnock, you know, situation where it's like radical. They've been kind of like, you know, pushing back on that some. They haven't really done it so much. But now, you know, a black woman who actually wants to stand on the convictions and get these people prosecuted is now radical. And then they're saying that Biden's administration has been trying to push through a whole bunch of radical leftists. And that's a lie. That's actually a lie. Especially when we look at the political spectrum of right and left, there isn't a true left in the United States, right? Because in comparison to other political systems and other countries, the way that we are, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren would barely be center left, right? Just for the things that they push, because they don't all the way advocate for democratic socialism or for social democracy or for communism or for socialism or for any anarchy or anything like that. That's a left wing extremist position. We don't have that. We don't even have that in Congress. You know what I'm saying? We have, I guess you could say, social democrats. Some of them push for those kind of things. But as a whole, it's really a lot of centrists, a lot of moderates, and then a lot of center right. Neoliberal, neoconservative, both of those terms get, tossed around. They start to mean the same thing. They have different origins, but in today's kind of thing, if you were to describe what you think a neoliberal would be, like a Hillary Clinton or an Obama type person, either they're center right, or you would probably say that they're, damn near conservative. They're war hawks, big defense budgets, Wall Street, they love them, they want to bail them out. They don't really care too much for the individuals or for the little people, and you can tell by the policies that they push. And the things that they do after they get out of office. But that's another story. Anyways, but Kristin Clarke being nominated, and on the day that she was nominated was even more, I guess you would say, as Chuck Schumer said, poignant, particularly poignant. It was on the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd being killed. Now, if you guys don't know about the George Floyd situation, I don't know where the fuck you have been, because we have talked about it. We even reported on the Derek Chauvin trial. The guy was convicted on all 3 charges. So at this point, it's like, if you don't know who he is, and you don't want to know who he is, which means subconsciously you know who he is, right? But anyways, he was the one whose death sparked global revolution, right? So many people stood up across this globe for Black Lives Matter. And in fact, Black Lives Matter has been nominated for a Peace Prize, or a Nobel Peace Prize. And I'm sitting here like, yo, that is dope, right? That is so fucking dope. I'm not even gonna lie. But aside from all of that, he is what you would consider to be the catalyst of things that just took off. We were able to do things here in my own home city of Warner Robins with NAACP, with other organizations. We had guest speakers, we did demonstrations, we did marches, but a lot of that has died down. So we need to figure out a way to get back into the point of fighting for social justice, fighting for civil rights, fighting against voter suppression, fighting against police brutality, fighting not just for the sake of fighting, but fighting for a cause and for a goal, for an end purpose. That's what we need to fight for, so that the lives of the Trayvons, of the George Floyds, of Rakia Boyd and Sandra Bland and Breonna Taylor, and the list of these, the say their name moments and movements and all of those things, so that they don't die in vain. We have to continue this fight. I don't want to say that they're martyrs, because they didn't give their life for the cause. They had their life taken from them. I need you guys to understand the difference between that. Martyr is somebody who is out there, who is going to die for the cause because they understand that they put themselves in that position. These individuals are names that we know because they were killed before their time by police officers. They were taken. That wasn't given, that was taken. And there's a big difference I need you guys to understand when it comes to this. And a lot of people want to say George Floyd was a bad individual. I'm not here to question or judge George Floyd. But what I am here to say is, whether you believe he was a bad person or not doesn't give you the right to say he should have died that way. 9 minutes and 29 seconds of someone kneeling on your neck is probably one of the worst ways to go out. And then to have the whole world watch it. So no, he didn't deserve to die, and it doesn't matter how you feel about the man. If you believe that Derek Chauvin deserved due process, then you should definitely believe that George Floyd did too, especially when we're talking about a so-called fake $20 bill. This is horrendous, but this is where we are in America. We got gun culture that's just taken over. We got, I wouldn't call it ignorance over intelligence, but people don't really trust experts anymore, and they trust their YouTube sensations and these people who say what they want to say. You know what I'm saying? We have a lack of humanity. We have like a disdain for like just coming together. We don't really understand why we don't like each other. We just know we don't. And we haven't even taken the time to talk to each other. So I think that's something that we really need to do. We need to talk, which is why I started this podcast, Controversial Conversation, to have the conversations that were necessary at the times that we needed to have them. And right now, we really need to talk about why we feel that it is okay for over 9,000 people to kill themselves by a gun, and why it's okay for over 7,000 people to be killed by a gun. We need to understand why it is okay that we continue to deify police officers, and why we think that it's okay to not hold them accountable. We need to understand, is this a psychological issue? And if it is, how do we correct it? We need to figure these things out before it continues to get even worse. But you already know it's going to. But anyways, y'all, I don't want to leave y'all on anything bad. So if y'all ain't checked out Kwame Brown's situation, man, that shit is still funny to me. Like, he just going in. Stephen A. Smith had to do a little mic drop thing yesterday. If y'all get a chance, watch the 9 minutes. Because you could tell that man was tight. That man was, he was feeling it. I'm not going to lie. He was feeling hit. And Hit Dog gonna holler every time. So anyways, man, if y'all haven't had a chance to check out that saga, I talked about it, I think, a couple weeks ago maybe. But look, go check it out. Shit is too funny. It all started with the All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, and they had Gilbert Arenas on, and it just took off from there. People ducking on Twitter talking about, hey man, don't talk about me, don't talk about my mama. I'm sorry if I ever said anything wrong, man. It is too funny. But anyways, man, I hope y'all continue being y'all. I hope y'all continue having a great week. Know that I'm here for you. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, share it, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace.